Hello there. Now I've had this script on the back burner for a while, along with a bunch of others, but we'll get to those another day. Art styles. What are they? Well, it's basically the style of art somebody makes, hence the term art style. For example, if somebody makes trippy art with high saturated colors, some people might call that artists and hyperpop artists. Or if an artist tends to draw anthropomorphic animals, they might be called a furry artist. Or if you're an artist that likes to draw realistic things from life, your art style could be called realism. But it could be the exact opposite. If you're the type of artist that draws exaggerated body shapes or expressions, your art might be called a cartoon style. There's hundreds of different art styles, and each artist has their own, even if they don't think they do. Now, in my opinion, art styles are made from experience, practice, and basically what the person likes to draw. For instance, my art style tends to change and shift depending on what I want to draw. For instance, you might be able to call this piece a soft art style. Or you could call this piece semi-realism. Or you could call this piece a chibi art style. You might want to change up the art style of a piece depending on how you want it to look and how you want it to feel. How did I get my art style? Well, it was a combination of things, really. I've been drawing ever since I was a little toddler. And when I got to preteen levels, my art actually started to look like, comprehensible art. In fact, teen me used to only draw in pen, because I heard something along the lines of, if you only draw in pen, it will discourage you from making mistakes because they're permanent. I know. Teen me was very dumb. But as I got older, the tremors in my body started to get worse and worse, and even to the point where it was painful to do anything with them. So that ended up being very hard to draw, because I felt like I always had to press against the paper really hard to keep my hands still and the line straight. So, when it got too painful, I decided to switch to digital art. Now, is digital art easier? Yes and no. It was way easier on my hands since I didn't have to press against anything anymore. And the program I use even has a stabilizer feature, so I don't have to worry about my shaky hands as much. When I switched to digital art, I was very, very sad, because I had spent so much money saving up and getting, actually good traditional art supplies. But now it was too painful for me to use them, so I ended up giving all of them to my sister. And at first, I hated digital art with a passion, because I felt like it didn't look like my own effort, if that makes sense. The lines were always not right, or the colors didn't shine. But as I learned, it takes so much practice, I got to the point where I'd consider my art decent. And as for style, mine shifted and changed because I was testing out new ones. Some I dropped because I personally wasn't happy with how I recreated them, and some I kept because I felt like I was good at recreating it. So how should you find your art style? Experiment. Experiment with colors, lines, mediums, shapes, concepts, anything. You have no idea what you are capable of making until you experiment. Also, research. If you like a style, you can research and try to recreate it. But it's very important that you don't recreate the art piece, but the art style it has. For example, this is copying, but this is not. Now, another thing is people that hate on artists because they don't like their art style. For instance, what is that? Oh, just an art piece I'm working on. working on. That's just a bunch of scribbles. Yeah, that's kind of the point. It looks bad. Okay, it's just some Ven art. It's not supposed to look good. I'm sorry, would you like to draw it for me? What? I can't draw. Then why do you feel comfortable speaking about other people's art if you can't even draw yourself? I'm still allowed to have ahem. Anyway, don't let others decide how good your art is. That is up to you to decide and critique. But don't be hard on yourself, because your art is amazing, whether it be a poorly drawn stick figure or a painting in a museum. Your art is uniquely you. No one else can recreate the exact art that you make, no matter how they try. Alright? Got it? Okay. Love you. Bye.